Follow the money.
That's what I always say. You always follow the money.
Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Paulie Howard on VSiN.
Here we go. Live in Vegas. Circa Resort and Casino. Busy. Follow the Money coming up today. Great guests on the program. Former GM, Major League Baseball with the Mets, Jim Duquette, coming up bottom of the hour on tomorrow's deadline in Major League Baseball. Glenn Clark covers the Ravens in Baltimore in studio later on. Mike Palm, the VP here of Circa, and Matt Youmans on the program a little bit later on today as well. Paulie, how you doing on a Wednesday?
Good, feeling good. Good stuff. Great action. And what drama we had for this great prop.
Okay, so we, I think, say this like every single end of the month, going on 3+ years now. It is one of the best sweats in any sport, and it comes down to the wire somehow, some way in almost every. It didn't last month with Houston. I think they cleared it no problem, or with a couple of days left. But here's what was going on today for the most wins in the month of July in Major League Baseball. Circa offers it. DraftKings offers it. Caesars, they put up odds like a week before every month rolls around. So going into today, Toronto, they had 17 wins with 8 losses. That plays in because of certain tiebreakers. They were between 20 and 28 to 1, depending on the book. The Brewers in action right now getting crushed, 17 and 6. They were as high as 60 to 1 that I saw. And Boston, they entered 16 and 7. They needed a minor miracle and almost got it. Our buddy Chris Massaro had them at 89 to 1. So Blue Jays had the leg up, while Brewers, depending on where the tiebreaker would come into play. In that game that just finished in Baltimore, Orioles led 3-0, Paulie. They led again 5-3. Blue Jays took the lead 9-5. Orioles made it 9-8. They had the bases loaded with 1 out in the 7th.
Correct.
And they could not score another run for the rest of the game.
Got out of it. And Toronto had to have it anyways. You don't want to get swept in a 4-game series in Baltimore as well. So that was huge. So Toronto finished a win ahead of Boston?
They finished the month 18 and 8.
Yep.
Boston finished 17 and 7.
Okay, because I was going to see at least if Massaro could get, because Will Hill Caesars, it's just dead heat. There's no tiebreakers. So if you have the same amount of wins, you just cut it in half and you get at least a payout there. So the drama here and what happened. Imagine if Boston could have got there with what had to happen.
So here again, here's the breakdown again. If so, for Massaro's sake anyway, betting it here at Circa 89 to 1. Again, they only pay out one team. There is no dead heat, right? So it comes down to tiebreakers. Number one tiebreaker is fewest losses. So if Boston, is that game over with now?
Yeah, 13-1.
13-1.
Yeah.
So that, by the way, that 12-run differential is key here. So they won by 12 runs today. They finished 17 and 7. They had to have that win. Milwaukee obviously would have to lose this game. They're getting smoked right now by the Cubs, and they had to have Toronto lose the game. So in theory, all 3 teams would finish with 17 wins.
Yeah.
But they also needed, because Milwaukee had a 7-run differential going into the game. That's the second tiebreaker here at Circa. So Boston needed to outscore Milwaukee by 8 runs today. Hello, 13 to 1.
Yep.
And right now, Brewers trail 8 to 3. All of this was happening.
He had it.
And Baltimore blew the game against Toronto.
Could have hedged a little bit. Maybe could have got creative.
I'm sure I texted him. I haven't heard back yet, but I'm sure he did.
Yeah.
Oh, it's unbelievable.
It is. August, here we come. Get ready for another month. Oh, that's good. How high was Toronto? Because
I saw him 28 to 1.
No.
Oh, sorry.
In play. Remember? Because DK updates us on a regular basis.
I saw, by the way, I'm glad you brought that up. If you go back to Saturday night after they beat the Tigers, they had a 3-game lead in this market. Mm-hmm. They had 17 wins. The next closest teams had 14. Like, it's all over with pretty much, right?
Yeah.
Then they lost Sunday. They lost the first 3 to the Orioles. And, oh, my God, it's suddenly squeaky bum time.
God.
They were – I didn't track it the whole time. I saw 1,400 at one point.
Oh, you did?
Yes,
okay.
I did.
All right. I saw 12.
But it's crazy how it comes down to the wire like this every single time.
That's good. Yep.
Damn.
Yep.
So Toronto's going to take it down.
I'd rather do that at Will Hill and Caesars.
With the dead heat?
Yeah. Because I'd leave a bad taste in my mouth. Not that I'm ripping people here, but I just how you go. No, it worked out in your favor with that Guerrero Perez thing one year with most home runs. They don't want to pay out. They only want to have one winner here.
Right.
Okay, that's fine. But once you get to these tiebreakers and things that could go against you and stuff, I mean, that's.
Well, remember,
I'd just rather say, okay, I would win. We just, split it in half.
I'm not complaining here. A win's a win. But I did have the Tigers, in the month of May, I believe, when they had a commanding lead late in that month. The Cardinals suddenly got blazing hot, and it came down to like one other team. Again, 3 teams in the mix. And that I'm staring at a 16-1 clear-cut winner, and that turns into a 3-way split, and I cashed for like plus 460, I believe, was the overall dead heat ruling in my favor. Mm-hmm. I'll take a win, but again, it's not like cashing a full bet at 16-1 on that.
Yeah.
So that kind of stung the bag a little bit.
Sure. And the bases were loaded with 1 out, and the Brewers got out of it. So now they went from 24-1 to 12-1 in play to come back down 8-3 in the bottom of the 6th. And I know you're president of the Freddie Peralta fan club.
Okay.
I mean, he came in 7-0 with a 2.64 in the last 9, but Freddie had nothing.
That would be my biggest concern for this team in the playoffs.
And, of course, Bush leads off the game with a home run.
Oh, he did last night?
Today
he did that.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Good stuff there.
Not yesterday. Today he did it. Yeah.
They did not come through last night.
No.
One day after Rhino passed away.
No.
But today it's looking good. And, Peralta, that's my biggest concern, I think, going into the playoffs with this team. You pit him up against a true number 1 for like Peralta against Zach Wheeler.
Who would you start? I'd go with the kid.
I think I might too. But
Woodruff's been great too.
What are the nerves like for the kid, though, if he has a game 1 start?
I think he's got the balls of a burglar. I think he'll be okay.
That depends if they let him show those balls.
Sure, that's another good point too. Could you go Woodruff, Miz, Peralta?
I'm not opposed to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they will. I think they'll go Peralta because he's been the mainstay there and reliable this year, but not today. So that kind of hurts as well. But I think you're right too, Paulie. Toronto kind of had to have that game. All of a sudden, again, baseball, very long season. Crazy things happen. Teams can be really good for 2 weeks and then fall on their faces. That's what they were looking at by getting swept against Baltimore today. They didn't, and so they got out of there with at least 1 win. But look at how many runs were scored. Is that going to be a takeaway here? Is that watch out for Baltimore with this offense now and kind of bad pitching to maybe play their games over?
Yeah, good angle.
Their high totals are like around 10 against Toronto, but 3 out of the 4 games in the series, no problem whatsoever.
Yeah. And now it gets interesting with what happens tomorrow with what we see with the trades and movers and shakers. And if you go for it. That's the other.
Are you surprised by how few trades we've had so far?
Yes, I am. I thought it would continue after what we saw, and there was a lot of activity the last couple of days.
Yeah.
Now it's slowed down, but let's see if we can get a big one at least. We haven't had a big one yet. Let's get a nice trade. I mean, you think Suarez has got to go, and Arizona's going to. I would think Kelly would be right behind him too.
Well,
right?
So people again like baseball guys, baseball media. Suarez doubled in his final at bat today in that game, and they're adamant about this. They said it will be his final at bat in a Diamondbacks uniform, like he is going to get dealt. But, what's the bidding war going to be like?
Got to go to Seattle. Unacceptable last night.
It's a bad loss.
Soriano had been, Severino 0-9 at home?
Yeah.
With ERA a 7 and change, and he shuts you down? Come on.
1 run the entire game?
Yeah, that's bad.
But doesn't that tie into, these numbers, this goes back a good month now. A lot of you have at least 1 fishy number every night in baseball. At least 1.
You do.
Wasn't that the game last night?
That's it. That was it.
We touched on it at the end of the show.
No chance.
They were out of it immediately. The Phillies-White Sox game still under a delay?
Yes.
This is
it's on the board still. Yeah,
okay.
Got it up in the post. Yeah, probably go in 15 minutes. I'm seeing one site says it goes in 15 minutes. Who knows? Walker $1.30 against Alexander, and they're underway.
Oh, it's not going to be Hauser anymore?
No Hauser.
No Hauser. They yanked
No Hauser. Correct.
Okay.
Correct. And as we said, how could Verlander be $1.70? Look at this, Pirates. What a funny sport.
Well,
now they've won 7 of 8, and they've allowed only 13 runs, and the Giants can't hit. And since they made the Devers trade, they have the worst record in baseball, and they have the worst offense. Unbelievable.
Yep.
And he's like 2 for his last 19.
Yep. Several of the metrics at the very bottom. We should have been much. You brought that up again yesterday. Should have been much stronger on that, Paulie.
I know.
Verlander's laying $1.70.
Put it on the list.
Okay.
We'll read him coming up. That's another whiff. Guy has 1 win on the season. He's $1.70.
Yeah.
And Falter was good again. But again, it doesn't matter who they're throwing because the Giants can't hit. So that's been great. And then I want to see what Cleveland does. I mean, they're in this. And if you say, hey, could they get to 86 wins? What they're on pace for? They got Twins, White Sox, Marlins, Braves, Arizona coming up. And if you get Bieber back,
well, is he going to get dealt?
Probably. But I know the Class A thing, the timing's a killer as well. But I mean, you're looking around, and a lot of these teams are losing or they're flawed.
Yeah.
You say, why not? We could sneak in and do this. And especially just point to what happened last year with Detroit.
So I'll give you one trend that Steve Mackinnon has today on vsin.com, and it did involve the Phillies-White Sox game. That was when Hauser was still going. But here's the angle. Back teams with a better bullpen rating per his numbers. They're all available at vsin.com, and starting pitcher rating if that team has an even or worse record. In 2025 so far, when he does this, the record is 142 and 88, plus 41.9 units, ROI of 18.2%. For the full 2024 regular season, teams in this scenario were plus 35 units. The White Sox would have qualified today with Hauser, but he's no longer going. And Tampa Bay at around plus 118 qualifies tonight as they take on Will Warren and the Yankees.
Closing time. Last call. Tomorrow, the last day to get our football special for 175 through the Super Bowl, and it's here. Hall of Fame game tomorrow. Lines 2 and 33. Trey Lance getting the start. All access passed, everything we do, everything we cover, every best bet, every host, every guest. The NFL betting guide's already out. The college football guide hits next week. Get the real-time betting splits, the on-demand shows, the dog videos, the analytics, the tools, the betting systems. Last day to get the special price, vsin.com/subscribe. You cannot be serious. 175 through the Super Bowl. vsin.com/subscribe.
AFC North coming up next. We'll look at some bets inside the division. For example, Derrick Henry is such a big favorite to lead in rushing yards and touchdowns. You have to leave a little room for the unknown. We'll discuss next here on VSiN.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Trying to land Jim Duquette here, former GM with the Mets, Power Alley on SiriusXM MLB Network Radio as well. Obviously, it can get a little hairy the day before trade deadline day in Major League Baseball. For example, a trade came down about 10 minutes ago. The Mets, Paulie, little active here. They got Tyler Rogers from the Giants. As Jeff Passan tweeted out, really good submariner. Doesn't throw hard, but he just gets outs. 1.80 ERA this year, 2.74 over the last 5 years. Super consistent and good pickup here for the Mets.
If you're running a team, would you go for it? Like if you're the Mariners, would you go for it? And
Without a doubt. Paul, they've never won a World Series.
Yep, and you have 8 top 100 prospects. Give it up for a rental. Go get Suarez. Try to make it happen and try to make a deep run. You didn't even make the World Series when you won 116 games, whatever it was.
Couldn't even get there.
That's right, yeah. Yankees took you out in the ALCS. So
teams like that, the Brewers, another one. By the way, if we got a Brewers-Mariners matchup in the World Series, formerly the Seattle Pilots turned into the Milwaukee Brewers, that'd be a really cool storyline. One of which the country would not watch, but I think it would be awesome.
Cares? Right. Yeah? Cubs the same way.
Sure.
You know, the rumors out there. Could you get Ryan? Could you get Kelly? But I think the Cubs got to go for it, too. And
Jim Duquette joins the program now. He is nice enough to join us here in the Progressive Guest Line. Jim, we know it can get sketchy here today, tomorrow, obviously, with the deadline, so we definitely appreciate your time. Thanks for popping on.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Mitch. Paulie, it was right in the Mets literally made a trade. It's just being announced now. They picked up a reliever, Tyler Rogers, from the Giants. They gave up three players in return. So the at least the trade deadline for the Mets is starting to get really active. They picked up Gregory Soto the other day, but I really like Tyler Rogers, that submariner from the San Francisco.
Yeah. Do you think they're going to continue to be active, the Mets?
I do. They've been looking for the back end reliever, so I think Rogers fits that billing. If you kind of look at what they did, lefty dominant reliever in Gregory Soto. Then you have this submariner, Tyler Rogers. So I think they're good there. They're also looking for starting pitching, and they're also looking at potential center field types. Luis Robert, they've been linked to. Cedric Mullins from the Orioles, another one that they've been linked to. So stay tuned. The starting pitching front, I think I've heard Merrill Kelly's name more recently. Joe Kelly out of Minnesota. Sandy Alcantara, there's a possibility there. So they're big fish hunting, which is what you'd expect for the Mets.
With your experience and background, can you take us through the factors that everything you would consider about, is it a rental? How good are my prospects? Can I make the World Series and everything that comes into play when someone calls and offers you a big deal?
Yeah, it's very complicated. When I was in the front office, there was a lot of pressure, complicating factors. We didn't have as much information as there is available to them now. I wish I had some of this information. It gave you a little bit of agita, not knowing certain things, and you don't have necessarily all of it, but you have a lot more medical information. You have other factors, not only you have exit velocity, you have analytical, so a lot of tech measurements now that help you with, hard hit rates, all that on the offensive side. You have spin rates on the pitching side. All of those things, we used to look at from a more of an objective way through scouts. Now you can do it through the technology. So that's helpful. But in the same sense, all the factors that you were starting to talk about, whether he's a rental or a guy that's under control for a couple of years, you're going to pay more for guys that are, under control for, more than this year or next. Rodgers, in this example from the Giants, he's going to be a free agent at the end of the year. But they gave up a pretty heavy price, but you're looking at this from the Mets side of things. You go, all right, well, did we give up anything there that we couldn't replace? And I think the answer is no. You're trying to prevent giving up guys from your system that have high upside that you can get really burned on, right? So the Mets gave up Pete Crow Armstrong a couple years ago. I'm sure you guys have talked about that before for Javi Baez as a rental. That didn't work out very well for them. They didn't have a lot of information because of certain factors like having COVID and other aspects of that. He was injured at the time. So you're trying to prevent those major type of mistakes when you're making deals like this.
Jim, every baseball reporter I follow on X, they are convinced that Suarez is getting dealt from the Diamondbacks, that today was his last game in a D-backs uniform. Are you in that same boat? If so, where do you think he's going to land?
So you said Suarez? You cut out on me a second.
Yeah, Gino Suarez with the Diamondbacks, yep.
Yeah. Yep. So Suarez, I do think today's is going to be his last day. There's only a few games. Last game. There's only a few games, and I think they play tomorrow, but it would be after the deadline. There are a number of teams that are needing third base. I think when you look at realistically, the Reds were in on him. They just picked up Ke'Bryan Hayes, so they're out. The Mets have been talking about him. They're not really, I think, all that serious. I think when you look at Cubs, Mariners, those seem to be the two teams that are on him the most, and so that for me is something that I would look at, especially because both those teams are looking like they are going to be more aggressive than some of the others. So, the Yankees have been talked about there as well, but I don't see them going down this road quite as far as those other two teams.
What are you hearing on some of the big name pitchers?
Sorry, you cut out on me.
What are you hearing on some of the big name pitchers?
And some of the big name pitchers. Yeah, so to me, it's fascinating because like Zach Gallen, I think is leaving. He's going to be gone. Arizona's, and I think Merrill Kelly too, because they're both free agents. Arizona can get something good, certainly for Kelly. He's one of the better ones. Sandy Alcantara, I'm still up in the air on whether he's going to be gone or not. He hasn't pitched well. Yes, he's under control for a couple more years. The Marlins aren't going to give you a discount for him. They're asking for a premium package for him. I don't know if there's a team out there that's willing to do that. If there is, then they can get him. But he's been a little inconsistent here recently. Joe Ryan is a guy I've heard his name mentioned a lot recently. Wouldn't be shocked if he goes with Minnesota. Those are the main starters that I'm hearing. I haven't heard anything else, at least at the moment. I think that covers most of the starters that I've heard.
What's the most realistic landing spot for Joe Ryan, in your opinion?
Well, so Joe Ryan is a really good fit in so many places, right? Anyone looking for starting pitching, I think the Cubs would be hard pressed to, and try to get him. I think the Mets would be all over him. Mets are really looking for a starter. Yankees are potentially looking for starting rotation. Dodgers are looking for pitching. It could be, they also have a lot of guys, prospects that they could give up. So it's some of those, those high revenue teams that are, have strong systems I don't think the Mariners are in on him. I don't think Texas is. Outside chance, but I don't think the Astros are. So I think that those are the main teams looking for starting pitching that I could see Joe Ryan linked to.
Okay, very good. Jim Duquette, our guest here on Follow the Money. It's VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. He hosts Power Alley with Mike Farron on Sirius XM MLB Network Radio. Jim, if you had to bet on the Yankees making a move that will move the needle to you, would you bet the yes on that?
You know what? I would bet the no on a major move, believe it or not. I think when they picked up Austin Slater, for me, that was an indicator that they felt that Aaron Judge was going to be able to come back at some point and go to the outfield. If I had seen a more impactful guy there, I would have said, oh boy, that means that Judge, is iffy for a return to the outfield. I think eventually he comes off the injured list. He starts as the DH and then can go out back to the outfield. Now, this is more speculation, but I've heard from people around the Yankees that they feel like he'll be able to throw coming out of this, time off and after he got the PRP injection. So, position player wise, I don't think they're going to do much. I think they're going to add a bullpen piece, but they also have, a couple of relievers coming back off the injured list. Fernando Cruz, Mark Leiter, and they have Luis Gil coming back as a starter. So, if there's a team out there, I can see that's going to, I think, improve on the fringes, but not necessarily look impactful. I think it's the Yankees.
All right. We have about a minute left here, Jim. The team that will make the biggest splash between now and tomorrow will be who?
Mariners or Cubs. Comes down to one of those.
Okay.
Mariners have already started. I think you got to give, Naylor as part of that. Mm-hmm. They could end up with Suarez and a reliever. Back-end reliever. Cubs, I think, they've just started. I think they're going to do something big, too. So look for one in the American League, one in the NL.
Fair enough. You can listen to Jim along with Mike Farron every day on Sirius XM MLB Network Radio. Their show is called Power Alley. Does a great job, obviously, covering the sport that he has been involved with for his entire career. Jim, thanks so much for the time today. We appreciate that.
You got it, guys. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
He joined us here on the Progressive Guest Line. Mariners or Cubs, no hesitation. One in each league will make the biggest splash. He's right. Good. You have to include Naylor in that, but
we're the Red Sox.
Yeah, good one.
Come on, you get the Devers contract gone off the books. You're right there. You won again today.
All you have to do, Paul, is get into the playoffs.
Yeah,
then
you're
going to have
rotation.
You're going to have Crochet going in Game 1.
Yeah,
good luck against that.
Yeah, that's disappointing.
Yep.
I'm not surprised though.
All right, win some, lose some is up next. Terrific reaction from your all-time betting whiffs on the show. Yesterday, we should have known not betting the ponies would come back to haunt people for decades. Wait until you hear some of these stories coming up next.
That's what I always say. You always follow the money.
Yeah. This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Paulie Howard on VSiN.
Good to have you on board. We're live in downtown Vegas. Circa Resort and Casino is the spot. Busy hour coming up in 15 minutes. We'll get into tonight's betting card in Major League Baseball. Bottom of the hour, Mike Palm, who was the VP here at Circa, is going to join us in studio for his weekly appearance. Right now, we get into the Baltimore Ravens. A little bit of the AFC North. Glenn Clark has been on this show many times. Does a great job. He's with Pressbox Online and 105.7 The Fan in Baltimore, doing his shows out here at the pool all week long. Good to see you, Glenn. How are you today?
Dude, this beats working for a living. You guys get to do this every day, man. And by the way, your listeners and viewers reach out to me every time that I am on your show.
Do they?
You have an incredible group of supporters and followers, and there's a reason why you're very good at this. It's awesome to be here with you guys.
Well, it's very nice to hear. Yeah, thank you. And it's a pleasure to have you on the show as well. You've given out some bangers on this team and the division in years past. Before we get into maybe any props that you have your eyes on this year, I want to start here. We talked about this before the break. For a long time, I've been saying the Bills are too short in the AFC East, like minus 250. They should be like $5. The closer we get to the season, the more you look at stuff on the Ravens. They're $1.49 to win the division here at Circa. Who's close to this team? Don't tell. The Bengals defense stinks.
The Bengals defense stinks, but the Bengals defense always stinks. So there is that world where you just say this is what they do. But no, if they're healthy, there's no world where the Ravens should only be 149. There's no world. They have entirely too much talent. They are loaded at everywhere except for oddly special teams, which is normally where they make up for it. But that, I guess, could be a difference in close games. They're too good to be sitting at 149. There are so few weaknesses on paper. Obviously, it's a bummer that Isaiah Likely went down this week, but the word is he's going to be back early in the season. That would be one area, pass catching depth, perhaps at the wide receiver position specifically. But, we're really nitpicking. They are that much better on the whole than every team in the division.
What do you know about the kicker? And it wasn't like Tucker was great the last couple of years.
No, that's a great point, Paulie. He was not. It was rough last year. In fact, there was a lot of talk during the season before any of the story came out that the Ravens might need to start thinking about moving on. This was the kicker, Tyler Loop, out of Arizona, that they liked. This is not one of those aftermath, we got that guy, so we're going to tell you they liked him. I was told multiple times by people that would know this was the guy they were in on throughout the process. What do I know about him? I know he's been off to a shaky start in camp. He missed like a 38-yarder already this week just in practice. They're going to give him some runway. This is not going to be hey, it doesn't work for a couple weeks. They invested the pick. He's going to be their guy, but he's going to have to prove it. They're banking on the fact that the kickers that will be available, say week 6 of the season, if it's not going well, are about the same as what they can get right now. So they're going to give him the opportunity to get the job.
Okay, so let's say we're wrong on this, right? And they don't cruise to a division title and they're challenged and the year doesn't go as well as we think it's going to. What will be the reason for that? And then who would challenge them the most? Would it be the Bengals because of their offense, or are you maybe buying into the Steelers?
No, not buying into the Steelers. I would love for you guys to tell me I'm wrong. That roster does not look all that impressive to me. I think they have a couple of game changers. DK Metcalf is a game changer. Obviously, Watt's a game changer. Hayward's getting up there. The secondary's getting up there. Guys that are a bit older. I don't think they're a complete roster. I do like Caleb Johnson a lot. I'm not enamored with Aaron Rodgers. I do think it's the Bengals. It's the route of them scoring 40 points a game and being capable of doing it with that quarterback and those two wide receivers. But what goes wrong for the Ravens? They get off to another slow defensive start, but given how they played in the second half of last season, it's really hard to see that. They were amongst the best defenses in football in the second half of the year. And another year with Zach Orr, it's just hard to imagine that. Kyle Van Noy, it kind of runs up. Mike Green doesn't become the guy they think he's going to become when he was a first-round talent available in the second round. I guess those would be the paths. The real path is Lamar gets hurt. Like, that's the real path. It really seems like anything short of that, this is a team that's going to be as good as everyone thinks they're going to be. It's just going to be a question of, do they finally get it done in the postseason?
Why does it keep happening? Right? I'm sure the players are sick of it, but they want to shut people up. But, you got to keep talking about this as they look so good in the regular season. They're the best team, and they have all this talent. And, turnover, silly mistake. They lost again. And, 14-2, 1 seed, can't get it done.
Paulie, yes, 100%. I don't have that answer. They don't have that answer. There's two football concepts that I think are relevant. One, for as good as they are at generating a rush, they don't have the guy that just goes and wins and just makes that game-changing play when they need the momentum game-changing play. They think Mike Green might be that guy. It's part of why they were willing to overlook some of the things that other teams were not willing to overlook when they took him in the second round, particularly in the aftermath of everything going on with Justin Tucker. They think he could be that type of difference maker. Is it a lot to ask in year one? Absolutely. A lot to ask in year one. The other football thing, you bring it up, Lamar Jackson is a superhuman. Like, can do things other human beings can't do. And we saw him in the Bengals game a year ago pick up a botched snap and turn it into an amazing touchdown. But against the Bills in the playoffs, he picked up a botched snap and it turned into a turnover. And I think that's the type of thing that they might have to encourage him to. Discretion is the better part of valor. You're good enough without doing the superhuman things to be able to win playoff games. We just might not need those things.
Well, the Andrews thing. Well, both of them.
And it makes no sense. Everybody's down on Mark Andrews coming into the season. Mark Andrews remains one of the best pass catchers in football.
11 touchdowns last year.
But yet, in that one spot, when you needed that one catch,
missed it.
It's impossible. Like, it's not. There is no story with Mark Andrews other than he hasn't been great in the playoffs overall. But Mark Andrews, he's an unimpeachable.
Yeah, and a fumble.
Yeah,
they're going to win that game.
And a play where he tried to go laterally across the field inexplicably when they didn't need that.
Let's follow the money here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. We're talking Ravens, AFC North here with Glenn Clark, Pressbox Online, 105.7 The Fan in Baltimore. I guess, what do we say about Derrick Henry other than he is like this once in a, I don't know, not even a lifetime freak athlete? I want to say that at some point, he's going to lose a step. and like the speed's not going to be there and he's not going to be the same guy, I have no reason to believe that he's not going to put up another huge year this season.
I don't know if I said it with you guys, but when they signed Derrick Henry, I admittedly, and I feel like kind of a doofus for it, I questioned it. I said, is this what you should be doing? Is this how you close the gap? Is a plus 30-year-old running back? I take back everything I ever said. The first time you stand next to Derrick Henry, you're standing next to an alien. You're standing next to a freak. Derrick Henry walks around the facility eating plain bowls of kale and spinach, like no salad dressing, no hot sauce, no nothing. He is a different human. There is no way to explain it. And literally nothing that we saw a year ago would make you think that he's on the downside of his career. I would love to be the one to say, I don't know, because originally that's what I thought when they signed him. Everything about Derrick Henry has been a perfect fit in Baltimore, and there was nothing that we saw from a year ago that would make you think that he is headed towards the end of the career.
Do you like him week 1 at Buffalo because they've had to hear about this for 6 months?
Yeah, I really do like him in Buffalo in week 1. I do. Again, let's watch the Isaiah Likely thing. Let's see what happens there. But yes, everything that they went through. And John Harbaugh, when he has extra time to prepare. A year ago, they play in Kansas City in the opener. It comes down to Isaiah Likely's toe, famously, right?
And they did not play well at all in that game.
Didn't play particularly well, and yet there they were right at the end. Typically, when John Harbaugh has more time to prepare for an opponent, the Ravens, and I wish I should have prepared the stat for you, but historically, they've been extremely good. Given that, and the weather is much better this time around, it's much more conducive to opening things up. And everything they've been through, yes, I do like the Ravens in Buffalo in week 1.
Okay, you gave this out on the show last year, and I think 2 years ago as well. This is at DraftKings. Will the Ravens have a rushing touchdown in every game, regular season, 10-1?
I'd take it. I'm absolutely hitting at least 8, scoring a touchdown in every game. This comes down to 2 things, again, health, and then do they sit Lamar Jackson in week 17, right? Like, is what that number comes down to. I think they missed 3 games last year. I rode this for a while. It was an awful lot of fun for me. There were things that I could have done with that ticket afterwards that I regret, but it was a fun ride, and I'm going to ride it again this year because they have Lamar Jackson and they have Derrick Henry, and why wouldn't you ride with that? The only thing that would throw in is they might be more inclined to try to throw to DeAndre Hopkins in the red zone. They brought him in specifically. That's something he can do, but I love that ticket. I'm riding with it again this year. It's awfully fun.
Yeah. And shop around, you might get better than 10-1.
I thought I've seen it at better numbers other places. I didn't realize you couldn't play FanDuel in Nevada. I went to look it up today, and I said, boy, now I'm going to feel like an idiot. I can't play it here.
Yeah, we don't have a couple of the big boys in the state. No DK, no FanDuel.
I have played a little Circa while I have been here. I had hit an Orioles on Monday, a couple of hits on that when they scored a ton of runs on Mo Gabba Day, which is a special day in Baltimore. They've never lost on Mo Gabba Day. I had a fun day playing those numbers.
All right.
Okay.
Excellent.
I've also lost money in a lot of other ways out here. The Circa has still come out on top during my trip out here to Vegas.
Are the Browns the worst team in the league?
In the league?
How bad?
I don't know, man. Like
4 wins? Schedule. 3 wins?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be tough. They beat the Ravens a year ago at home, which is still bizarre.
Yeah, right.
Well, how did Baltimore lose to the Raiders last year?
I don't. Well, there's a lot of things that I've got questions on. The defense was so bad in the first half of the season. Here's what I would say. I think with Joe Flacco, there's still there's a floor. There's a floor. He is a professional. We have seen that every time he's gotten the opportunity the last couple of years. He can only be so bad. He's not going to consistently throw the ball to the other team. The question is, how long do they choose to play Joe Flacco before they inevitably have to give one of Dylan Gabriel or Shedeur Sanders the chance?
Have to?
They have to.
Have to?
They have to get a look at those guys at some point this season.
They might put Pickett in there.
They might. What's the point of playing Kenny
That's
Pickett?
what I said.
To do what?
Yeah.
What's the point of employing
Kenny
Pickett?
With Kenny Pickett, they might not have a floor.
Correct. If they play Kenny Pickett, it could absolutely be uttered. What do they have? What do they have going for them?
I mean, you think about that, the teams that could be in the mix for the worst record overall, not only is it going to be bad in Cleveland, the roster, the quarterback overall, but their schedule's second most difficult. The Giants, great like front four,
Defensive
maybe front
excellent,
7,
right.
but other than that, not much. And they have the hardest schedule in the entire league.
I have nothing that I like about the Giants whatsoever. I'm with you on that.
Good. You can follow him on X. He is at Glenn Clark Radio. He comes super prepared and hits a home run every time he's on the program. Thanks, pal. We appreciate that.
You guys are the best. This is awesome.
There you go. Up next, we'll update the live betting board in Major League Baseball. We'll get into the late games, a 15-2 overrun against this team. Find out who next.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Fired up here on a Wednesday with the maestro, Mike Palm. It's now time for his weekly segment called You Cannot Be Serious.
You can't be serious, man. You cannot be serious!
You know, I try not to make this segment too WNBA laden, but the product just won't let me. And this week, as Mitch teased, we got to learn what makes the WNBA stop a game in live action and what doesn't. So let's start on Sunday. Phoenix Mercury at the Washington Mystics. Third quarter, 3.5 minutes to go. Mercury guard Kalea Copper is working around the screen. The girl defending her tries to reach around the screen and hits her in the head, and her wig falls off. I don't know if you saw this.
Oh.
Her wig fell off. Immediately, all three officials stopped the game, stopped the play. She grabbed the hair. She ran to the locker room. We didn't resume play. There was no substitution. They stopped the game for her to go reattach the wig. I'm not kidding you, Paul. It was 3.5 minutes to go. I think it was tied in the third quarter. Meanwhile, this is even better. Meanwhile, during the break, fans behind the Mercury bench were laughing, and one fan was even making fun of her. Well, that's not going to be tolerated in this league.
No.
So Tibbetts and Alyssa, the coach for Phoenix, and Alyssa Thomas go to the referee and said there's a guy that's making fun of her for a wig coming out. The head referee, Amy Bonner, goes to the scorer's table and calls for security. You can hear this on tape. Go back and look at a replay. She tells the head of security, the player said that there is a fan who made fun of her for the situation that happened on the floor. He's got to go. They went over and escorted the guy out for making fun of her because her wig came off. Eventually, she came back, and they restarted the game. I find this to be absolutely loose. Why would they stop the game like that? Just put a substitute in. Meanwhile, I'm reading all the comments online. The guy said, I knew that wasn't her hair. Paul, as you'll tell, that's her hair. She paid for it. Okay, let's correct that. Right? Let's correct that right now. All right, that's part one of the story. Now we go last night to Atlanta. I have to be very careful here how I describe the situation. But our Valkyries are playing at the Dream. There's a minute to go and the game is tied 75-75 during the Valkyries' possession. They're passing the ball around and an object comes out of the stands, lands on the free throw line and kicks off. They never blew the whistle to stop the game. They let the possession go on, and then when the Valkyries missed and the Dream got the ball, they blew the whistle and stopped it. Now we're stopped. They take a timeout, and now here comes security. Now police are coming onto the floor. All right. We've got the owner, the co-owner of the Dream is out there. They look like Georgia State Police. They got the co-owner of the Dream is out there talking to him. Nobody knows because you haven't really seen what it is. Then all of a sudden the camera shot goes on what was thrown on the floor. Did you see what it was?
Can you say it on the air?
I can't say that word. Can I say sex toy? Okay. It was a bright lime green sex toy that was thrown onto the floor.
I was going to make that a $4 favorite.
That it was?
Yes.
They're now booking what color the next one will be. They get thrown on. They got it black is minus $1.25. They won't stop it when it gets thrown on the floor. A sex toy in the middle of a possession. But if a wig comes off, stop the game and throw out anybody that laughed. WNBA!
You cannot be serious!
This one might even be better.
No,
it has to be. Listen to I read the tweet.
Okay.
Have you heard about this kid that used to play defensive back for Memphis, sending their defensive play? Did you read this story?
Oh boy.
This is maybe funnier than the first story. So this kid played 3 years at Old Dominion. His name is Taj Rael, a defensive back. He played half a year for Memphis and then left the team. He's now with Purdue. He's now playing for Dave Odom at Purdue. Okay? He went to high school with the UTSA quarterback, Owen McCown, who is Josh McCown's son, by the way. He went to high school with this kid in Charlotte. So now he's already left Memphis, and Memphis is going to San Antonio to play UTSA. He sends this kid, the quarterback for the other team, the defensive playbook for Memphis. It comes out in the tweets. It all came out this last week. He sends him this. So he says, I have to read this. I have to read the text. He says, here you go. That's all the signals. Far left is coverages. I'll send you better list showing you the call. But they run quarters, and none of they safeties can cover, by the way. No reroutes on the slot. The field safety is the weakest link in the defense. His hamstring's hurting, but he running out of eligibility. So when you play him, he number 0. This is actually sent and acknowledged by the UTSA quarterback that he got this. UTSA was down 24-14 at half. Scored 30 unanswered in the second half and upset number 25 Memphis 44-16 on November 2nd. Now here comes Jeff Traylor, who's the coach at UTSA. He said it had no impact on the game. It was all gibberish and nonsense that he sent us. Purdue comes out aware of the situation and saying the people at Memphis are greatly mischaracterizing the incident. So nothing to see here. Nothing to see. He sent them all their defensive calls and told them all their rotations.
I'm blown away the kid can still play college football.
No, there's no repercussions, Mitch.
I'm stunned.
There's no repercussions. Purdue University.
You cannot be serious.
All right. And then, I don't know if you caught this story from the NFL. There's more than 100 players that are in trouble.
Yeah.
For scalping their Super Bowl tickets. More than 100. This is players, coaches, other teams that get tickets. Sold their tickets to the Super Bowl in New Orleans at more than face value to these bundlers, who then resold these tickets from anywhere from $2,500 to $3,500. Here's what's interesting. It's right in the collective bargaining agreement that you can't do that. So here's what it is. For each ticket, the players must pay 1.5 times the face value of the ticket as a fine. If they don't pay this fine, Goodell can suspend them for regular season games. It says some of the players have already paid it for fear of getting suspended over this. And the NFL said in their statement, no one should profit personally from their NFL affiliation at the expense of our fans. Times must be tough in this league. NFL players!
You cannot be serious.
There we go.
Yeah. How about the shot on the back end? You're aware I've paid for wings. Incredible.
I figure you do.
I had to.
I figured it. I've learned it at one point in my life. It's their hair. They paid for it.
Okay.
By the way, so reselling, it reminded me of a story that I went through earlier this month. I was unaware that this was a possibility. I'm not going to name names. You're going to know what it is. Don't say it on the air. There's a very popular steakhouse here in Las Vegas that is next to impossible to get into. I learned the reason why recently, because my buddy and I went there in mid-July. Mm-hmm. The only reason why we were able to go there, late notice, his wife knows the GM, got us a table. Mm-hmm. I was told that there are groups of people, as soon as reservations become available at popular restaurants.
Don't tell me they're reselling reservations.
Bingo.
Oh my God.
They book every reservation and then they resell it on the secondary market.
How do people know to go to those people to buy the reservation?
That part I don't know.
You know the steak.
How about that?
You're damn right I do, because I lost it on the lady.
Yeah.
It's
awesome.
I was going to go there too. I go in terms of, I have some cachet in this town. I go, can I get 5 months? I can't get in. I go because Shauna wanted to go. I go, I can't get in. 5 months notice.
There you go.
Get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
No, sorry, sir, I can't. And then Jordan Scott comes to town for right in.
Well, it's who you know.
Yeah, because
he's got more cachet living in Dallas.
Yeah, the host got him in. Sure, can you believe it? Because his host got him in and made the phone go. Come on.
Paulie does love to pull. Do you know who I am?
No, I don't. Get out of here.
I'm just joking with that. Of course not. I'm kidding.
That is unbelievable. Are you serious?
Oh yeah.
Oh, that drives me crazy.
Are they using all kind of different bots? Can't the restaurant see what these people are doing?
They should be able to. You would
if
think,
it's the same account, book.
I don't know. How do they sell them? How do they then, how are people...
How would people know that this is the black market to get a reservation at this restaurant?
It drives me crazy. And I'll do the $100 handshake too. I mean, it's absolutely absurd.
I was blown away.
You can't be for...
And here's the thing. When he told me the story, I was like, you cannot be serious. He was. We went there on a Monday night, one of the deadest weeks of the entire year in Las Vegas, at 5 o'clock, which is not even... It's not 6:30, 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
Packed!
Yeah, get out of
Not a spot to sit. By 5:30, not a spot to sit or stand in the whole place. So that was a new one to me. I was rattled. I'm asking him, how? Why? How? What? How does that happen?
It happened to me multiple times. At the time, my agent had reservations during the week of the Super Bowl out here. I go, what is this, crazy town? I can't get in, and this is, I was so freaking mad.
Do you have a best bet tonight in Major League Baseball,
I
Mike?
played Wu and Sears under 5 first 5.
Under 5 first 5.
Yeah. The beat yesterday.
Condolences on the Lugo beat.
Oh, God. Savage.
75 pitches, and he
Savage.
needs one more out.
He's going to go like 7, 8 innings.
No,
Nobody
the in-game outs for him was 20 and a half going to the 6th. And then he goes first 2 outs.
First two outs.
Oh, how many books offer in-game outs?
There's one that I know of in town.
Oh, wow.
They book it during the game, moving in-game total outs recorded.
Oh, that's good knowledge.
Yep.
All right.
A+.
Yeah, excellent.
Another
Is that 2 in a row, A+?
Two in a row.
You're cheapening it now.
No, come on. No. Can't, no. Grades don't lie.
Thanks, Mike.
You.
Up next, we will get into today's Major League Baseball card. The last 6 starting pitchers have all gone over the K-prop when facing this team.